right, everybody. Welcome to the Nick Bittle Life and Leadership Podcast. Here with my beautiful bride Trina. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Why are you laughing?
I'm just saying, this video thing is just hard for me.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. Getting it set up is hard. It's hard. We've
Guys,
had
we've
almost three
spent like
fights.
an hour, arguing all the things. And you're like 4 blocks away, so
Yeah, right.
it's good.
It's good. Today we are going to talk about hard decisions. Um, we've talked a lot about hard conversations. We haven't talked a lot about making a hard decision and what does that look like. But before we jump into that, anything new going on in your world?
Well, is the sound okay? I'm kind of in our entryway, so I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
want it to be echoey.
You don't sound echoey, but I have your echo cancellation on my
Well,
high tech
thank you,
software,
because
so
I don't know
should
how
be
to
pretty
change it
good.
on my phone. Okay, because I'm not moving because it's taking me forever to get
It's too much
here.
work.
It's too much work.
I don't blame you.
I can see how beneficial it is to have a set.
It is nice to have a studio where you can just walk in and turn on the camera. That is
Yes.
nice. You should get one. You should probably get a job so you can afford a studio of your own.
Hey,
So,
no, I should just come sit beside you. Can we do that next time?
um,
Is there a
we
reason
can
we're not
try it.
being?
I would have to change my studio around to do that. So, but we
Oh,
could try that.
that's hard.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That would require some work. So, but
No small talk. How was you just got back from a trip? I know we've talked about it a little bit, probably not as much as we should.
yeah, no, the trip was good. Um, the more I travel, the less patient I am. I've decided. I know that's hard to
You,
imagine that I'm less patient than I already used to be.
you're a very
But
patient traveler.
this last trip I had, there was lots of flight legs. Every trip, every place I went, it was two flights and a delay,
Okay.
and I got to one place late, and I had to park in a parking garage, and I'm beat. I'm beat.
Oh.
And I go to the front desk and I check in, like, are you parking a car? I'm like, yes. Okay, you got to put this parking pass on your dash. And I'm like, really? I got to put a parking pass? I got to go all the way through the parking garage? And so I was a little frustrated about that. And it reminded me of, there was, maybe it was last year. I was in Denver and I was staying close to the airport. And one of these things these hotels are doing around the airports, which I try not to stay close to the airport, but they're selling all their parking to
Mm,
travelers, right?
wow. Yeah.
Or they say if you stay here at night, you can keep your car here for a year. One of those
Yeah.
types of things. And I get to, it was the Embassy Suites there in Denver, and I pull up under the portico, and I go in and check, and there's no place to park. The parking lot's full. The street is full. I mean, for a few blocks around the hotel, and I tell the front desk person, I'm like, hey, there's no place to park. And they said, yeah, we've kind of rented all those spots out, so you're just going to have to just drive up the road and leave it like on the ditch, on the edge. And I'm like,
And
parking doesn't
walk
come with the room. What's that?
and walk back.
Yeah, walk back, and it's midnight
Dark.
or 1 a.m.
Oh. Yeah.
And I'm like, bull corn, that ain't happening. And so I just said, okay, that sounds great. And right now, my car is parked under the portico right outside the front doors where the shuttle parks. And so I just went out, got my suitcase, locked my car, went to bed. I just left my car under the portico right there front and center.
No.
And 5 hours later, when I left, it was still there. And I thought that may just be my reserve spot from now on. There's regular parking, there's diamond member parking, which is never available. And I think the Nick Biddle spot is under the
Nick Biddle
portico.
spot.
That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with.
Oh dear.
The only other thing that I had written on my notes that I thought was kind of funny this week was you got Cruz some new socks,
Yes.
and he got in trouble because you were doing some of his laundry, and these new socks are labeled left and right, which would
Yeah, which
drive
is
me insane.
ridiculous.
Drive me insane. And you started washing his laundry, and he's wearing all the lefts. Like that's
Right. I
all
was
he's
like,
wearing.
I'm not matching any of these socks because they're all lefts.
Yeah. Well,
And
then he
them,
looks in the stack. All you bought him were lefts.
yeah, all they sent was lefts.
Yeah, that is great. That's why I do not want markings on my socks. I want all of my socks to be the same color, the same size, the same foot. I want them unifoot. But but that was
You
good.
you want them the same batch, so the same shade of gray.
Yes. Yeah, I'd like them in the same batch. Just buy 200 pair and just release
Release a
8
few
pair
each
to me
time.
about every 6 months. And I'd really like to do that with my underwear as well because they change fabrics, textures, slickness. I don't like the slickness shift. That is no bueno. So I don't know what that's called, a sheen, but the way it catches my figure in the light, I don't like the change. But
Funny.
so yeah, so we've had a couple good episodes here the last few weeks.
It's been good. Like I really enjoyed, so a couple weeks ago, I really enjoyed Jason's interview. And I got a lot of good comments from you guys. So it's always good to hear. I mean, we don't want comments for like praise. Just tell us
Sure
what
we
you
do.
think. Oh,
No, if you like it, if you like what we're doing, let us know. You know, if you don't, keep it to yourself. That's my
yeah.
philosophy. Keep it just, I don't want to hear your negativity. Just keep it to yourself.
Well, if it's
So,
something we
no,
can
no, we
improve,
like
I
to hear
want to
what we're doing
know.
right. Yeah, what we're doing wrong. So,
Yeah, but it was, a lot of insight. And I mean, you two are great friends, and it was just good to hear the conversation, very insightful. You guys are both very intelligent and
yeah, we
um
are both very intelligent. I hear that a lot, mostly about Jason. But sometimes I feel more intelligent when I'm standing beside him, so that's good. But no, he's a great guy. He was pretty nervous about that episode. He's like, "This is junk." After we recorded it, he's like, "Nick, this is trash. Just throw it away." But I thought it was good. I thought it was really good.
it was great. It
So
was great.
if you
And
haven't listened to
Patrick,
that one, go back and listen to it. It was
yeah.
on. We talked about the Swiss vet system, the vocational educational training and system they have in Switzerland, and it was really insightful, really was. And then Patrick and I had a couple episodes, and we talked about how communication is a hard skill. It's not a soft skill. We had some great conversations on that. Patrick does such a great job of just breaking down complex ideas into simple language that simple people like me can understand.
Yeah, it was very good. And it's just good, we talk about Patrick a lot. It's good for everybody to see him, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah. So, are you liking the video part of this? You liking where we're going with this?
Um, I
That's a
don't know.
no. That long pause is a no. For all of you who are married, that was a no. It is a lot more work, right?
Well, and we're not in a groove yet. But the thing is, like, I watch a lot of podcasts and vlogs and things, and I like video. So I don't know, it just brings a different context to the people, and you can put a face with a voice. And so just because it's hard doesn't mean we don't do it.
Well, I know. I got up this morning and I cut my hair because I was going to be on video, and then I realized I've got some hairs right here. I don't know if you can see them. They're right next to a bald patch, but there's some long hairs there that I missed. And so I blame you because I can't see the back of my head. But now I
Well,
can.
and maybe it's time to just make a decision of bald or not.
Should I go slick? I don't know.
I
Kind
don't
of like this
know.
Kia Pet look I've got going here.
I like it. I like it however you do it.
Yeah, no, I'd probably like to go. I'd probably like to go slick. Just go bald. Be done with it. But
I'll
anywho,
fix those spots when I see you next.
there you go. Well, that'll be here in about 8 minutes. So But hey, this week we're going to talk about hard decisions and how sometimes big decisions in life can paralyze us out of fear of making the wrong decision, out of fear of sunk cost, fear of the unknown. And when that happens, we just kind of freeze in our tracks. We make no decision, and I believe that is the wrong thing to do. But let's talk about hard decisions and why they're hard, and maybe I can hand out some chiropractic adjustments to help everybody be better at making hard decisions. Are you good at making hard decisions?
What would you say to that answer?
I
Or
don't
what would you say to that question?
I don't think I think you're pretty good at making hard decisions.
I mean, I think
Um,
I am, but I will say I really need to bring my stool here. I can't sit on this plain chair. Okay. I do like to make an educated decision, but there are some things I just know and I don't waver. But usually it's things I'm educated on.
yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah, but one of the things you're really good at is you're really good at pulling emotion out of things. Like you do not get wrapped up in emotions around decisions. You are pretty cold, dry, especially if it's something I need to do or something I need to change. You're not worried about people's feelings. You're just like, here it is, do it. And so I would say you are pretty good at making hard decisions. Where a normal person might feel like, I don't want to say that so direct. That's going to hurt somebody's feelings. You're not. You're like, hey, those shoes make you look fat. Uh, Take them off. Go home. Get out of here. And so that you don't mind. You don't mind. That is one of your spiritual gifts is being able to just shoot it
Honest.
straight. You're
I'm
honest. You're
honest.
honest. Yeah.
But you said the other day I wasn't.
You're honest with me, maybe not with everybody else. The
Are you are you good at making decisions? I think so.
I I don't I think so, but I could be wrong. We all think we're good at this, probably. But I mean, it comes to pulling emotion out and one of the things that I try to teach, if someone comes to me and they're having a hard time making a decision, and let's say it's a decision on whether or not to keep a team player, an employee. Maybe you're in a role where you've got somebody and it's like, they're really not performing like I would like them to perform. The decision to fire somebody is that is what I would consider a hard decision for a lot of people. And I think there's a couple of things that get wrapped up in that. One, we there's about 8 decisions wrapped up in firing somebody
Yeah.
because your brain just kind of goes on this path of what ifs. It's like, well, they've got a family. How are they going to support themselves? And who am I going to? Can I find anybody better? If
Hmm.
I can't find anybody better, should I hold on to this? And so we're afraid of missing out of what we do have because we can't find anybody better. We think timing is an issue. It's like, well, God, the holidays are right around the corner, and I don't want to fire somebody right close to Christmas and this and that, and so then what we do is we cloud that decision with about 8 variables. And I think it's important that we can compartmentalize that decision. And you don't need to worry about what they're going to do or who you're going to replace them with or the timing. I don't think we need to not worry about that, but you don't have to worry about that on whether or not we keep somebody. And the first decision is, and I call it zero based thinking. It's not my idea. It's a common idea out there, but it's like knowing what I know now. If this position was open today, would I hire this person for it?
Hmm.
Pull the emotion out. If your answer is no, and a lot of times I will work with clients and like, golly, I've got this guy and he's a VP and he's been with us for 18 years and he's just everything's tanking. And I was like, okay, well, if this position was open today and this person wasn't working for you, knowing what you know now, would you hire them to fill the position? And they're like, absolutely not. It's like, okay, There's your answer, right? So it's like, okay, they're a wrong fit for your team. Now we figure out when to fire them, how we let them go. Do we give them a pension, or not a pension, but a severance, or do we not? How are we going to replace them? All of that. Those are next step decisions. But let's make the first decision. Do they stay or do they go? Let's make that as easy to see as possible by pulling the emotion out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And
What do you got? You had a look on your face like you had a comment.
well, I mean, you're good at talking about that, but I think you're good at doing it too. But one thing, like between you and I, if it's something you're emotional about, I'm usually not, or vice versa. But
Like my
we know
shoes.
each
Yeah.
we know each other well. We've lived together a long time, been married a long time and gone through life a long time. That when you say like you're not emotional about something, but I am, again, but I'm sure corporations are, I mean, are like this too. Your guys are like this too. A lot of them have worked together for a very long time.
Oh, it's messy. It's messy. And sometimes that hard decision isn't whether or not to fire somebody. Maybe it's whether or not to service a client, or maybe it's whether or not to offer a service anymore. Too often
Mm.
it's like, sold another one of these, and it's like, why are you still doing that? It's like, well, they've been buying it and I still offer it. It's like, if you opened your business today and you didn't offer that service, would you market it and try to sell it? If the answer is no,
Yeah.
then stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Now, what do you do with that client, and how do you tell them no? And man, that's all different decisions. But make the
Mhm.
first decision first. So pulling that emotion out is so important, and really breaking down. Most of the hard decisions we're trying to make are really like 8 or 9 decisions wrapped up in one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's where it's good too to put things on paper. I know a lot of people don't use paper anymore, but or maybe it's a note page in your phone, but just to write out several all the 8
Well,
decisions you're trying to make with the one. Or do you not agree with that?
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're talking about a pros cons list,
Yeah.
because we see the. I mean, our brain will just tell us, oh, if this happens, then all these horrible things are going to happen. I mean, we
Mhm.
blow it completely out of proportion. If I
Well, I
do
don't, but you
this,
do, yes.
but if I do this, what's the worst outcome? Oh, everybody's going to hate me, and maybe you volunteer at a somewhere, and you don't have time to do that anymore. So hard to quit. That's a hard decision. And who's going to fill in and who's going to do that? It's like, no. It's like, is it the best use of your time? Is it? I don't think we need to do everything selfishly, but pull the
Right.
emotion out of that decision. I think sunk cost is a big hurdle in making the right decision in our lives. Sunk cost simply is, I've already invested this much money, this much time, this much energy into this decision. If I abandon it now, then all of that is lost. And this is why we hold on to a stock. And I'm really good at this. Buy high, sell, don't sell low. Ride that sucker into the
Into the
dirt
ground.
where it goes down so hard it bounces. That is my stock trading philosophy. And then wait till it goes back up, buy high again until it goes down, and they eventually close the company. That's what I like to do. Yeah. And but it's sunk cost. It's like, oh well, golly, I've got so much invested, I've got to get my money back. Well, we do the same thing. We do the same thing with careers. I see lots of people in our business, in the construction business, that are starting their second or third career in the trades. and maybe they are getting into the apprenticeship program as a 40-year-old or a 50-year-old. Didn't Heather say that she had a 50-year-old or a 55-year-old in her apprenticeship
Yeah.
program when she was an instructor?
Hmm.
And when you think about when I have conversations with those individuals, because I had somebody last week in my workshop, and they're like, "Yeah, this is my second career," and I was like, "Okay, and why'd you change?" It's like, "Well, my first career was a disaster, and I hated it. I got into something, I didn't understand what I was getting into. I was just doing it for the money. I didn't like it. I wasn't passionate about it." And I said, "Well, why did it take 27 years to change directions?" And they're like, "Well, I'd gotten a degree, and I was making money, so there was all of these sunk cost reasons."
You and Jason talked about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So sunk cost is a real piece, and it's like, no, no. Even if you've been going to school for something for 4 years and you got your degree, it's like, knowing what you know now, would you, if you could start over, would you go back and do that again? And if the answer is no, then change directions. Change directions.
But it's hard sometimes because you feel wasteful. I mean, even me, like I struggle with sunk cost a lot. You know this. I mean, I would like to change out a lot of my kitchen things to all glass, and I would have to get rid of all plastic, and that's just tossing it away or giving it away. I'm sorry, that's a mom example, but that's hard because there's a lot of money there.
I You don't mind replacing stuff. You don't like to get rid of it though. Like Kyle brings crap to our front door every day.
Oh, that has
Shoes,
cut way back.
clothes,
Your shoe.
supplements, utensils. You don't cook, but we've got nice utensils. We got skillets and frying. I really need a new skillet. And I'm like, you use that thing once a quarter?
No, we
But
make eggs all the time. I do need a new skillet. I'm shopping for the right one.
yeah, right. But no, I mean, that is sunk cost. It's like, well, I've already got so much money
It's like
invested in this. I've
a
got so
waste.
much money. Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, and that's hard for that's really I'm not good at that decision.
Right.
Not.
But you don't mind buying shoes, but you don't throw away shoes. Like you don't get rid of shoes. You have a hard time getting rid of them
Right.
because your closet is full and you're bleeding into my side of the closet. I've noticed
You have a side?
everything's getting smaller on my side. I come home from a trip and I was like, I used to have clothes there, but now those look different.
I know we didn't build the his and hers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's good. And I think and this is where I come in. But I have a lot of my clients will call me and have me help them with a hard decision. Do I get rid of this person? Do I need to go a different direction? What am I doing wrong here? Because a lot of times leadership teams, we have so much emotion involved. We need an outside perspective. And so if you are struggling with a hard decision, should I stay or should I go? What should I do here? Where should I send my kids to school? Uh, where should I live? Should I keep this job? Should I stay volunteering? Whatever it is,
Hmm.
should I? Maybe it's caring for a family member. You talk about hard decisions. Man, those are hard decisions. Get an outside perspective. Find somebody without a dog in the fight
That you
that
trust.
that you trust, and they can't have a dog in the fight. They can't be biased. So that's sometimes hard. I remember a client called me one time. I probably told this story a dozen times, but that's all right. I'll tell it again. In Boston, and they said, "Man, Nick, we have lost 7 good foremen in the last 3 or 4 months." They said, "I don't know why they're leaving." And they needed somebody without a dog in the fight to come in and help them. And we went out there, and I grabbed a stack of Post-it notes, and I said, write everybody's name and their position on a Post-it note. One name per Post-it note. And we had a huge
Mhm.
whiteboard, and we just we made an org chart basically, and I gave him a dry erase marker, and I said, "All right, now circle the 7 people we lost." I just think it's so important to be able to visualize
Yeah.
things. And one person was over here, and then 6 were over here, and I just said, I don't know these people. I don't know this person up here, who they're answering to. But I said, my money is their boss is the problem. Because we leave companies for a couple of reasons. One, to chase an opportunity. Two, to flee an organization or flee a relationship. And I said, I'm guessing that person's a toxic leader. And I mean, boy, you could tell he wrestled with that. Because he said, man, he said, that's my son-in-law. And I was like, yeah, sorry about that. But he was so close to it, he couldn't
Oh,
see it. Couldn't see it. Now, I don't know what happened. Um, but you talk about a hard decision. That's a hard
yeah.
decision.
And a
And,
lot of these companies you're in are families.
oh,
A
yes, no,
lot, a lot. They're
I could
family-owned
talk all
businesses.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, hey, it's me and my 2 cousins and a crazy uncle
Mm-hmm.
running this company, and one person never shows up.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do? And the problem
We
is
all
we
get
don't.
paid the same.
Yes, yeah, oh yeah. Hey, there's 3 of us. We all draw a salary. One person never works. How does that work? Unemotional. I'm like, well, fire them. Well, but they own a third of the business. Well, they can stay an owner, but they're not an employee. I said, do you get paid to be an employee? No, we just get a draw to be an owner. I was like, well, there's your problem. Pay yourself each $250,000 a year salary to work.
Yeah.
And then you get an owner's draw on the side.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
rewarded is repeated.
Yeah.
And it's hard decision for somebody to make that's in the middle of it because they gotta eat Thanksgiving dinner with that person.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're gonna make a hard decision, first step is to know the right decision to make. Then you can decide if you want to make it or not.
Yeah.
And I had one client who just said, I'm not going to do it, Nick.
I know. What if you're not going to do it? Then
Then
what do you
that's
do?
okay.
Can
That's
you just
okay.
own the consequence?
Make that decision. It's like, no, we're just going to keep them on payroll. That sounds great, but know why. Don't sit there and make an excuse for it. Know why. It's like, you know what? Because I care more about family than I do my financial statement. That's okay. That is okay. But own that decision. That's yours then.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Very much so. To
Another
me.
to you, well, yeah. Another strategy to really pull emotion out, which I've used before, is if I own this business or if I was in this situation and you were consulting me, what would you tell me to do? And usually you can see that person say, "Oh, I'd tell you to leave," or "I'd tell you to
Yeah.
fire them or quit," or "Oh, that's yeah, don't do it." But my deal's a little different. It's like, yeah, well, your deal's
No.
got emotion.
I would phrase it in the form of a question. Some Nick Bittle stuff I learned a long time ago. Say, well, what is keeping you there? What is keeping you in the situation?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Why
What's
haven't you
keeping you
made the
there?
decision?
Yeah. And fear usually drives a lot of that. It's like, ugh, what if what I'm doing, getting ready to do, is not going to be as good? And that's why you got to get connected to your why. I remember when we were starting this business, statistically, it was not going to work.
Right.
It was not going to work. No one's going to hire this hillbilly to speak to them. We knew that. But I really felt like this is what I was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so did you. And I remember we asked the question, so what? What's the worst that can happen? I too often I see people who believe failure is the end of the world. And it's like, what if it doesn't work? And what you realize, well, if it doesn't work, then I'll go get a job. Well, that's really not that bad. That
Well,
worst
I
case
thought it was.
scenario is not that bad. What's that?
I think it is sometimes.
How's that bad? Talk to me about it.
Well, no, I didn't want you to do anything else. If we're talking about that decision.
Right. So I mean, if but our fear to not try something shouldn't be driven by, what if it doesn't work?
Oh, I see.
You
Okay.
know. Now,
I'm a little
there's
bit.
sometimes the consequences are too great. I saw that idiot jump out of an airplane without a parachute, and he grabbed his parachute on the way down. Did you ever see that? Some idiot threw the parachute out of the airplane, waited a little bit, and then jumped out of the airplane and grabbed the parachute on the way down and put it on and pulled the cord.
No, I don't watch reels like that.
You don't? Well,
There's no reason for that.
well, the what if this doesn't work? Well, you die. It's like, that's probably a little extreme for me. The other idiot that jumped out of an airplane and landed in a net. He did not have a parachute on. He was going to be the first person to skydive without a net. And he made it. He hit the net, and he had some guys with parachutes on guiding him and making sure he was lined
Yeah.
up. But it's like, okay, don't take unnecessary risks. I mean, if you're an idiot, then hey, it's good entertainment for the rest of us. But for weigh the cost.
Yeah.
But failure sometimes is not that great of a cost. Now, if you
Hmm.
got 1,000 employees and you're taking a risk that could mean the company collapses, that's probably too great of a risk. It's like, now you want to look for base hits. But personal failure, people blow things out of proportion. If this doesn't work, my life is going to be over. It's like, no, you're going to fail and you're going to change directions. You're going to start again.
Be
You
better
know,
for it.
yeah. What if I jump into this other career instead of this one and it doesn't work? Well, then go back and do what you were going to do. It's
Hmm.
not that big a deal. The other way to look at that is, what if you tried and it does? And usually that upside, if it's got a lot more potential than the downside, I would do it. I mean, that's what we did with my career.
Yeah.
It's like, what if you try this, Nick, and you fail? It's like, well, then it'll
Hmm.
be another failure. But what if you tried and it works? It's like, wow,
Yeah.
that's worth taking that risk.
Hmm.
But those are just some of the things that I do when I'm faced with a hard decision, or I'm talking to somebody who's faced with a hard decision. Do you have anything else that you want to add to that?
Well, I feel like you have a term for it, but a 24-hour waiting period, if they're big life-changing decisions, is always good because sometimes you need that time to think through it, talk to your spouse about it, talk to your trusted person about it, because you may think of a different angle before making the decision the next day.
Yeah.
Time,
So yeah, and it might be 24 hours. It might be 2 weeks.
well, right.
How much sand is in that hourglass
Hmm.
for you to make this decision?
Yeah.
Sometimes we rush into a decision and we got too much emotion in that situation and in that time frame, and we need time.
Hmm.
Time is the cure for emotion. Too much emotion. Time's the tool to take emotion out of conversations, out of decisions, and give it more time. Some people just procrastinate too much.
It's called
They
a kid
keep
minute. All you get is a kid minute.
a kid minute, but yeah, but it's not a kid year.
No.
If you're getting ready to beat your kid, walk around the block and then whip them. But don't take off a year. Don't think about it for a year. I mean,
Right.
there needs to be a deadline on these hard decisions, but don't put it off for 2 years. Don't put
Yeah.
it off. The old Chinese proverb:
You and
the
your
best time
Chinese
to plant a
proverbs.
tree is 30 years ago. The second best time is today, right? Um, Once you know, and some of you that are listening right now, you are faced with a hard decision. You know the right decision to make. You're worried about the consequences. You're worried about the hurt feelings. You're worried about what people are going to say, but you know what you're supposed to do. You've prayed about it. You feel God leading you, and you're like, yep, that's what I need to do. Doesn't mean it's not hard.
Yeah.
Make the decision. Make the decision. The best time to make the right decision is before you made the wrong one. The second best time to make the right decision is today. Make it today. Make the right decision. I was talking to somebody very close to us the other day, and I said, with especially with your career, if you feel like this is where I need to go, this is where I need to go, but I've been headed the wrong direction. Our pride, our ego, what are people going to say? What are they going to think? How much money have I lost or invested? And God, what, I'm going to look silly. Nah, swallow all of that pride and make the right decision. If
Hmm.
if you're trying to drive to Florida for vacation and you leave in the dark and you get direction turned and you didn't have your map program on, your GPS on, and you started heading north, the minute you figure out you're heading the wrong direction, you will shoot a U.
Yeah.
Just shoot a U and say, oh, frets, I'm going the wrong way. Right? And we'll swallow some pride and hope our wife doesn't wake up and notice what we did, and we'll head south.
Yeah.
But sometimes with life choices, we're like, well, I've already headed north. I guess we're going vacation in Canada. It's like, this is where we're going. It's like, no. If you know it's the wrong way, turn around. Turn
Yeah.
around. Start today. What else? Anything else on that?
No, that's really good stuff, Nick.
Well, not even
Don't
worth
say
saying.
it.
Hard decisions, hard decisions are not about being perfect,
Yeah.
but hard decisions, it's about moving forward with clarity, purpose, intent. That it's about progress, not perfection. And make the hard decision. And I tell you, my brother Brandon, he hasn't said many good things in his life, but he said a few. No, he's great. I don't give him a lot of
A
credit,
lot.
but he will often say, Nick, you'll, especially when we're talking about having to fire somebody that's a bad fit, because we've had to do that a lot in our business. And he said, you'll never wish you fired somebody later.
Hmm.
He said, we'll put it off, we'll regret it, we'll dread it, but you'll never wish you fired somebody later. And the minute we get rid of that wrong fit, you usually that evening or that afternoon, you're like, God, why did I put this off so long? And that's
Yeah.
not just with firing somebody. That could be with a career change. That could be with any change. You'd be like, once you make the decision and get it behind you, you suffer a few of those immediate consequences. You're like, God, that wasn't so bad. Well, why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah.
And so I just want to encourage you to do it, whatever it is, unless it's to unsubscribe from this podcast. That would be a horrible decision because it's only going to get better from here. Anything
Well,
else from you?
and in our first couple episodes, we talk about some of the turning point decisions we had to make in our lives, even to just get here.
Yeah, yeah. If you're just joining us, and we have a lot of new subscribers, uh, go back at the beginning, especially the first 3 or 4 episodes. We really talk about our journey, how we got here, and mistakes we made along the way, and some of those are pretty emotional, but talks about the hard decisions we had to make, and maybe that'll help you if you're facing some hard decisions yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anything
Very
else?
good. I don't think so.
Well,
Good
we got
job.
to go mow, so we better get started.
Thanks for
So,
helping me. I know. What are we going to do when Cruz is fully gone?
well,
And
he's not
it's
here today.
just,
He's at a football game
I know,
watching.
but this is rare
So we get
instance.
to mow. We get to mow. Here we are. But that's all right.
I
All right.
like mowing.
I know you do.
I
That's all we got for
was
you this
getting ready
time.
to say,
Yeah.
love you. See you later.
See you later. That's all I got for you this time. Till next time, take care.